Hello everybody, and this is Burke Lyle here, recording, and major news has been circulating really throughout the week, really the last couple of weeks. Julio Jones could be on his way out of Atlanta, and he said a comment, I believe it was on Morning FS1 show, where he said he was out of Atlanta, being tired of playing in Atlanta, and at this point, you could kind of understand that based on what has happened really the last 3 years of this Falcons franchise. And where he could get traded, I don't know. I don't know where Julio Jones is going to play in 2021, whether it's in Atlanta or not. And I kind of heard a little potential trade rumors starting kind of during the offseason, but now they're really starting to heat up. I mean, it looks like it could be traded next week, kind of right around June 1st for that matter. And what I did, and I'm not thinking about the salary cap too much, which we're just reading a few articles. One of the biggest hurdles for Julio Jones being traded is the Falcons expect a lot. They expect a first-round pick. Now, whether they're going to get that, I don't know for sure. Maybe it's more like a second-round pick. Maybe, and so some teams have given away too many first-round picks, and you can just think about potential things going on. And I just went through a list of teams. I scrolled down top to bottom of order of when they were eliminated from the playoffs. So you have, I picked all 14 playoff teams. So you had teams like the Bucks, teams like the Colts, and one of the biggest hurdles, another hurdle, is looking at the salary cap situation. Since, again, Julio's expected to make a lot of money. Some teams don't have a whole lot of salary cap space, especially after free agency took place, and they spent their money. They need to sign their draft picks. So trying to fit the money in with Julio Jones is definitely a concern right there. But in this video, we don't worry about the salary cap. Since right now the favorites, based on reading things, I don't know where Julio's going to play. I don't know. And I'm not going to make any guesses. But some of the most likely scenarios, I say, could be the Ravens. They need a wide receiver. That's something that they have not had, that wide receiver. And we know how good Julio is when healthy. He did miss some games last year, and you wonder if we'll go back to that level he was, say, pre-2020 levels. You wonder if that's the case or not. And I heard the Ravens needing a receiver, and then also, I might have heard the 49ers. There are numerous teams out there. Obviously, he wants to go somewhere better than Atlanta. And I thought, you know what? They brought in Kyle Pitts. Maybe Arthur Smith is a really good coach. Maybe I don't know if the Falcons will keep him or not. It seems like probably not. It doesn't seem like Julio Jones wants to play for the Falcons right now. I mean, he's asking for a trade. So he's been there 10 years. When you're somewhere 10 years, and you've done a lot there. You've done a lot in that area. You think, okay, you've done so much. You've really accomplished a lot in your 10 years. In that organization. I mean, again, Julio's played in Pro Bowls, went to the Super Bowl with the Falcons, a game they obviously didn't win, had a lot of big individual seasons, and has been there 10 years. And they were supposed to be a contender. They were trying to be a contender. They failed to do so. This franchise has declined. The reason why they picked fourth and hired Arthur Smith as their coach, and why Terry Fontenot is now the general manager, and not Thomas Dimitroff, who was there, I think, for parts of 13 years. So there's a reason why this rebuilding is happening right now in Atlanta. There's a reason why that is all happening, and it's due to the Falcons' disappointment over the last, say, 3 years. Since 2018, they're coming off that loss to the Eagles in 2017 in that playoffs. That was an up and down season. 2019, they're supposed to be good. Maybe thought they would have been good at the beginning of the year. 1-7, but then they get hot. They fool people. They go 6-2 down the stretch, and you think, maybe they build off that. And then it's clear they don't. And then they go 4-12, including losing their last 5 games of the year. So the situation in Atlanta doesn't look very good right now. So Julio Jones will go rapid fire. We'll go from order from the Super Bowl champion, the Bucks, all the way down to the order of when teams lost in the playoffs. So for the Bucks, look, they just won the Super Bowl with Mike Evans, Chris Goodwin, and Antonio Brown as their wide receivers also. Not to mention Gronk, Cameron Brate. This was a team that won the Super Bowl. They don't need Julio Jones. They're good. They don't need him. And if you didn't play for the Bucs, think about it. You'd have Tom Brady for a couple of years, then what? And again, not needing the Chiefs. Look, they won back. They appeared in back-to-back Super Bowls with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce as their top two options. They almost, they could have won another Super Bowl. Maybe Mecole Hardman really starts to take big strides in year 3 in Kansas City. The way the Chiefs play, they've been great the last 3 years. Mahomes has been great the last 3 years. I mean, if things go a little bit differently, maybe they win 3 Super Bowls in a row. They're the most. If you want to be any franchise in the NFL, not only in the short term and the long term, you want to be the Chiefs. But again, Julio Jones, the Chiefs have spent their money. There's no reason to have Julio Jones in Kansas City. They don't need him there. The Packers now. So Davante Adams is a big contributor. Yes, the second option is varied. You don't know who that is. Marquez Valdes-Scantling. I've seen games the last couple of years where he might have this 75-yard reception, or have some good games here and there, make big plays, but they really don't have that number 2 option. It's Davante Adams, and what else? Yes, they do have Aaron Jones, a reliable running back, who they've decided to bring back. And not only that, Aaron Rodgers could be traded himself very soon. And you talk about getting Aaron Rodgers some more help. I mean, this offense is always has been really good the last 2 years. I mean, they've been to back-to-back NFC Championship games. Now you wonder what's going on with Aaron Rodgers, and what it appears to be is if Rodgers asks for a trade, then there's no way Julio Jones comes in. So he's not coming to Green Bay. It's not going to happen. The Bills, they made their move. They got Stephon Diggs. And Josh Allen went from mediocre at best. I mean, we saw him this first couple of years. Maybe he had some flashes. Oh, look at that long throw. Look at this play. Look at that run. Oh, look at this. Look at that. And it seemed like he showed flashes every game, but then the day's results were not good. The offense was not good. They made it to the playoffs in 2019 based on defense. He went from mediocre to maybe a top 5 quarterback. Maybe you could, and just improve dramatically. Again, getting the help in Stephon Diggs. They don't need Julio Jones, based on what we saw last year. And Josh Allen's due for a lot of money. They just went to the AFC Championship game. Julio's not going to Buffalo. The Saints, new quarterback, appears to be Taysom Hill. Michael Thomas is trying to get back to his 2019 levels when he had, I think, 150 receptions that year, over 1,500 yards, and just really had one of the great receiving seasons in NFL history. Definitely got some MVP. People thought of him as a potential MVP candidate in that season. And you go back, what he's done throughout his career. I mean, the rest of the wide receiving core looks a little questionable. Then you have Alvin Kamara. Julio to the Saints, I don't know. I mean, I've heard they've had cap problems. They just paid Taysom Hill a lot of money. I mean, he's not going to the Saints. That doesn't look like a realistic option. The Browns, Odell Beckham trying to come back from injury, pairing him with Jarvis Landry. They're really good at running with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. They were the best running team in the NFL last year. Obviously, they lost in the second round, and it was actually a close game to the Chiefs, closer than maybe people would have thought. They lost in the second round. Yes, they're a team on the rise. I think they did last year what many people thought they'd do in 2019. Their disappointment. I don't think Julio goes to the Browns. I just don't think that happens. I mean, I just don't see it. I mean, all these things, I don't see too much. I have a hard time seeing that. And I think maybe that jumpstarts Baker. Maybe it becomes even better in year 4. How do you afford to pay Julio Jones when you're already paying Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry? So next, the Ravens. One of the great running teams in NFL history. They can run. The question is, what about passing? Marquise Brown, Colm Hollywood. He has flashes. Mark Andrews at times seems like a good tight end. Now that seems like a team where it seems likely to happen. This seems like maybe one of the best fits of all the playoff teams. Adding Julio could make a big difference. I mean, the Ravens, you saw certain receivers, Stephon Diggs, go to Buffalo, DeAndre Hopkins, go to Arizona, where receivers, and the demand was not that high. And again, the Ravens, they can give up a first-round pick. I mean, if they think they can win a Super Bowl, and maybe they pick 30th, 31st, 32nd next year, and that is their pick slot, then no problem. Sure, they can give a 30th pick to the Falcons, just like the Jets did the same thing. What they got from the Seahawks and the Jamal Adams deals. The Rams have been giving up first-round picks for years. I mean, when was the last time they actually had a first-round pick? They give them up pretty much every year. They make a lot of big moves. So you're wondering if the Ravens add Julio Jones. I think that could be a good fit. Maybe really bounces back, new place, fresh start. The Ravens run. They still lead the league in rushing, yet then the passing offense improves dramatically, and they potentially become once again a Super Bowl contender, maybe back to what they were in 2019. The Rams, yes, they added Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods. I think they're in good shape. And by the way, they don't have a first-round pick until 2024. And I just talked about what the Rams did. I mean, you think about it. That Jalen Ramsey deal cost them 2 first-round picks. And then once again, trading for Stafford cost them 2 more first-round picks. I think they don't have one until 2024, and who knows what they'll do with that one. So the Rams, they spin big. They're investing big. They're going all in. You know, they've tried to have a lot of star power really over the last, say, 3 or 4 years, and it's worked to an extent. They made it to the playoffs 3 times in 4 years. Yes, they've had their ups and downs since the Super Bowl year. Yes, Jared Goff, their quarterback on that Super Bowl team, is gone. Gone is Todd Gurley. So they have said different looks than what they did then at the time. But still, the Rams are going all in and trying to win. The Bears, could he be paired with Justin Fields when ready? He already had Allen Robinson last year, 100 receptions, 1,200 yards, 6 touchdowns. But then again, are the Bears not yet serious contenders? I mean, do you really want to go from Matt Ryan to Andy Dalton and then going with a rookie quarterback? I mean, are the Bears ready yet? I mean, last year they were lucky to make it to the playoffs. They were not a playoff team. They didn't belong in the playoffs. They didn't really look like a playoff team down the stretch. I mean, yes, they're 5-1, and then I think they lost 6 in a row, and then they won 3 out of the last 4. So a lot of ups and downs. I don't see them going to Chicago. The Steelers, they already have plenty of wide receivers, 25 and younger. Smith-Schuster, Johnson, and Claypool. Problem is, Ben Roethlisberger could very well be retiring within the next year or 2. And you don't want to. That does not seem like an unstable. That seems like an unstable situation. Plus, there's really not room for Julio. I feel like in Pittsburgh. Now another one that I feel like could be another favorite. This is a really good team. This is a Titans team that lost Corey Davis and Jonnu Smith. Again, imagine having A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, and Derrick Henry. They need that additional offense. They need help on offense. They've lost Arthur Smith, so you wonder how that impacts Ryan Tannehill and that offense moving forward. Since with Arthur Smith, they had one of the more successful offenses at times in the NFL with Ryan Tannehill as their quarterback, and it's worked for 2 years. I mean, they made it to the playoffs each of the last 2 years, including a conference championship game appearance back in 2019, the game they ultimately lost to the Chiefs, and then last year they lost to the Ravens. But you wonder if in this South Division, you don't know where the Texans are going. I mean, Deshaun Watson, that could be a whole other story, what's going on with him. You look at the Colts, I don't know where they're going. Yes, they brought in Wentz. There could be some uncertainty there. Maybe Wentz really just changes his career in Indianapolis. Get to the Colts later. And the Jaguars, we don't know where they're going right now. I think the Titans could be that team. Washington football team, Ryan Fitzpatrick is your quarterback. They were very lucky to be a playoff team last year. I don't even know if they're a playoff team this year, really, so we'll see. And then finally, we have the Seahawks locking in Metcalf, a winning situation, but they just used two first-round picks on Jamal Adams. Do you just give up another one in 2022 for Julio Jones? Do you consider that? Or you know what? 2023, pardon me, since you gave up a 2021 and a 2022 first-round pick for Jamal Adams. So again, the Seahawks, I don't think that works there in Seattle. I don't think they don't need Julio Jones. So I feel like the only 2 teams that really need him on the list that I just read are the Ravens and I would say the Titans. Those are the teams I feel like could need him the most. Colts, they brought in Carson Wentz. You wonder what type of player Wentz is after last season, after what happened in Philadelphia, where he really struggled. So again, that is kind of the list that happened right there. I don't think he's going to go to the Colts. And just already reading, they already had fair amount. I felt like, how much better does bringing in Julio make them? Maybe it helps Carson Wentz a lot, so maybe that's a team to think about, but I don't know. So where is Julio going to play? I have no idea. I don't know. I think he will. I think he will get traded. He doesn't want to play for the Falcons anymore. Falcons want a first-round pick. Whether they get that first-round pick or not, that remains to be seen. I just don't think he stays in Atlanta, or maybe he changes his mind and he does stay in Atlanta. But from what I asked, where's Julio Jones playing in 2021? I have no idea. Will he be outside of Atlanta? Yes. Will he be traded? I'd say yes, probably so. Where? I don't know. Bottom line is I don't know where Julio Jones is going to be traded. Well, that is it for this episode. We'll see you next time. This is Burke Lyle here.